Welcome to Honest Car Reviews. My name is Eric and this is the Mercedes GT63 S E-Performance. Underneath the bonnet you have the 4-liter twin turbocharged V8, which puts out 640 horsepower and 900 Nm of torque. But with the E-Performance you have an electric motor at the rear wheels that can produce up to 200 horsepower for a 10-second boost and 100 horsepower of continuous power. Combined you get 840 horsepower and 1400 Nm of torque. It does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 2.9 seconds. And the only car more powerful than this is the Mercedes 1. And that says quite a lot about the power numbers in this car. These rear lights can't really be found in any other Mercedes. So it really stands out in terms of the design, the size, the presence. Just look at this rear. Aggressive, but well contained, luxurious, presence. It has it all. And the tires on this car, not the most extreme compound, it's the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, but the width. In the rear you have 3 15s and in the front 2 7.5s. Those are some massive width of tires, but they are needed to be able to put the power down to the surface. By adding this electric motor in the rear, the battery and so on, it has made it quite heavy. Over 200 kilograms heavier. So this tips the scale at about 2.3, 2.4 tons. That is a lot of weight, however you put it. There aren't that many changes that tells you that this is a E-Performance. Red lettering on the rear here, and the charging port located just on the rear here. Interesting choice of having the charging port just at the rear. Maybe they should have put it on the other side for some symmetry against the filler cap. And in the interior there are even fewer design cues. Of course, AMG has had their own design on the MBX system, some unique gauges for the electric power plant, but this is mostly changes underneath the car. Now we'll check the rear luggage space. And here is a problem, because the battery is there and there wasn't that much storage space to begin with, and it's even less now. So you can see just how little space you have. The practicality of this car is definitely worse than the regular GT 4-door, and we'll just put up the luggage space capacity compared with the Porsche Panamera, the BMW 8 Series and the Audi RS7 to give you some sort of comparison. You can see the upgraded Burmeister surround system details of the metal here. Putting that details in the luggage space says how far the rest of the interior is, I think. And a huge lip here, I mean absolutely massive. There is a choice of having a fixed mounted spoiler, which looks even more aggressive, and I think personally I would have chose that spoiler instead. The square exhausts are not real. You can see the exhausts inside there. Diffuser, and underneath you have so many vents. You can see it's moving out. You have air exhaust there. You can see how smooth it is. Yeah, some real aerodynamic trickery, a lot of air vents, a lot of cooling. When you stop this car, you can hear the fans just roaring away to cool this beast. I can just see the width of the fenders to house those massive tires. Interesting that they have chosen to have frameless windows. Gives you more of that coupe feeling. And the design reminds you of course of a coupe. It's a GT 4-door. Plenty of knee space. I would expect to have a bit more foot space. It's not bad, but I was just expecting to have a bit more. The seats are extremely huggy. There are only 2 seats in the rear. In the middle you have some cup holders, a wireless charging port, lighting USB ports, individual climate control for the rear passengers, and a nice carbon fiber inlay here. You have some dark levers, some brown lever. The metal inlays looks amazing. You have individual panoramic roof in the rear. Interesting that it isn't one entire part. If it wouldn't have the panoramic sunroof, it would be interesting to see if I would be able to sit comfortably in the rear in terms of the headspace. Really nice place to be in here in the rear. It feels secure, a lot of side support if the driver wants to go a bit faster. And let's go into a driver's seat. Apart from the unique center console, a lot is common in, for example, the Mercedes CLS, but that's not a bad thing. The quality is up there with anything else. The matte carbon fiber looks amazing. You of course get the AMG Performance. So right now you can see that the engine is on and charging the battery. Here you can see the revs of the engine, how much power is sent to the electric battery, how much power is sent from the electric motor as well. The engine, here you have the power, the Newton meter, and if you will go on this side, that means regeneration. The consumption, which I'll talk about briefly, you can see how high it has been. Mercedes claims 8.6 liter per 100 kilometer. I've never been able to go underneath 15, 20. Of course, it's very dependent on how you're driving, but it's just how it is. It's a powerful engine. It will use a lot of gas. So you won't buy this because it's efficient. It's a twin turbo V8. If you go to track pace, you can choose different tracks. So Nürburgring, Silverstone, Spa. You can time yourself, do drag race, telemetry about the speed, braking, stuff like that. Speed, the revs, and the temperature of everything. So the diff, the electric engine, the battery, the engine and the oil. Of course I have revs in the middle as well if I want that. The power, the driving mode, so now I'm in comfort. If I switch to sport, sport plus, and race, I have all of that. This button here is for the sound. Of course it opens the valves, but also you have a unique electric sound as well. The seats are not the most aggressive seats, but they are really huggy. The finish of them is extremely nice. You have this AMG logo as well in metal. The Affalterbach logo, this look really nice. You have massage, heated and cooled, and you can see the quilting here just looks so good. It's definitely set up to be more aggressive. It feels like a big car. Of course, once you get to know it, get used to driving it, it becomes a part of you. But you know, the sound, the electric power, and switching between the different modes can be a bit overwhelming in the beginning. The weight of the steering is a bit on the heavier side. The springs and the setup of the chassis makes it feel a bit more dartier than a regular, you know, GT cruiser. So the E-Performance, I think, really has made this less into a GT and more into trying to be more sporty, basically. Of course it's quiet, and of course the gear shifts are really smooth, helped by the electric engine that fills up the torque gaps when you are driving more normally. The engine tries to be active for less, so right now the petrol engine is not active, the electric engine is doing its thing. The hybrid system is designed more like a Formula 1 car, you know, so when you brake, the battery is filled up, and when you need to deploy it, then you deploy it. It's not meant to be, it can be used like this to be more smooth, but it will drain the battery quite quickly. But if I press or hold this button, it will activate the rear spoiler, so that's quite cool. Bit of a party trick. And of course we need to test this on some twisty roads. And we'll start in Sport, then Sport Plus, then Race, in automatic, and then we'll change it into manual to see how fast the pedals respond to my inputs. Not that fast at downshifting, not that much sound either in Sport. The brakes are really easy to read, they bite quite high up, no vibrations at all. Feels agile and on its feet. Very shockable, very shockable. But let's put it into sport mode, and I need to be focused in this car because, yeah, it has some real pace. Some more sound and some cracks as well. Man. I think we'll also do a launch control. I think I have enough battery, so hold the brake, race start. Oh, whoa, whoa, and the seatbelt feels like I'm being, oh, please, yeah. The seatbelt is just pulling me so hard. You just feel the tires struggling for traction. It's a lot of power trying to be put down through a four-wheel drive system, mind you, so that's good to have. I think it would be really difficult to put all that power through the rear wheels. You can hear the wastegate as well, but it feels very up on its feet, not that extremely settled down. You can definitely feel the weight as well. Let's put it into race. I won't turn off traction control because I am not stupid. If you want this car to misbehave, you need so much room as well, not on these more twisty roads. Oh. Okay, I need to be focused. The turning is amazing, and then the torque from the electric engines is just there. Holy, oh, the brakes. I mean, the tires are the limiting factor here. You need more tires. I'm glad that you have carbon ceramics, but you need Cup 2s for this. Holy oh. Oh. We're in manual now, race mode, the most aggressive setting. Holy, I think the shifts aren't as quick as I thought they would be. The traction control is also kicking. Oh, and then you get the surge of electricity. Yeah, interesting combination of how the power is distributed, basically. Jesus. But you can't. Yeah, some understeer there. When it disturbs. I've never experienced anything even close to this. The rear is really planted. Even in race, the traction control is pretty aggressive. Not the most aggressive car. The suspension is still quite soft, and the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires are quite progressive. It's easy to feel the understeer building up. Would I get this over the GT63 S? Well, that's a good question, which I will get to in my conclusion, but the weight of this car is definitely a consideration, even though you have all of that power. My key takeaways from driving this quickly: a lot of weight, prone to understeer, it needs Cup 2 tires, or at least more aggressive tires, and the delivery of the electric power plant can be quite surprising. And what's my conclusion of the car? Well, the Mercedes-AMG GT63 S E-Performance. Should you go with E-Performance? Well, the GT63 S is already such a competent package. The V8 is definitely the centerpiece of this car, and adding the electric power plant. And feeling the electric power plant when you're driving more spirited, it doesn't add that much to the experience. I think that the logic of adding the electric power plant into a performance vehicle makes more sense in, for example, the C63. The V8 here is such a nuclear bomb already that it doesn't really need the E-Performance. But I can't deny the sheer pace is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I've never experienced anything like this, not even in the EQS 53. But the price of 200,000 euros base price, here 230,000 euros, is a lot of money. But I can't deny, this is the full fat AMG experience. The look, the presence, the luxury department, the sheer pace. That's my final conclusion for the Mercedes-AMG GT63 S E-Performance. See you next time.